Welcome in Steve Sipple, full name, Parker Gabriel, Life in the Red, 4 downs. It's Wednesday. We're at reporting from Memorial Stadium. Nebraska just wrapped up practice number 11. We heard from Mark Whipple, the offensive coordinator, Sean Beckton, a bunch of young tight ends, Oliver Martin, active day over here, Brant Banks as well. So 4 downs, 4 most interesting things we heard today, sort of scattershot today, Sipple. Start with Sean Beckton. I thought it was interesting, you thought it was interesting too, what he said about sort of the tenor of spring so far.
Yeah.
And what practice has been like for the first 11.
Yeah, two things that go hand in hand. I'll just rip the two out real quick. Yeah. First of all, it's always a good day when Sean Beckton talks because he's very illuminating. He said the physical part of practice has been good throughout camp. It's been a chippy camp, fights, but just always very physical, which I guess goes with number 2, and that is, he said, a consistent element of the spring has been the run game.
Yeah.
The run game has been consistently strong. He gave a lot of credit to Donovan Raiola and his assistant coach, Aaron Coling. Thank you, Parker. Yeah. Aaron Coling's the assistant O-line coach, and also credit goes to the tight ends,
right.
Sean Beckton, and the running backs, anybody involved in the run game. So those were the 2 things from Beckton.
So Mark Whipple is interesting. A couple sort of injury updates in terms of guys that are getting healthy. Chubba Purdy's done a little bit more after spring break. Said he was really limited to skeleton work and 7-on-7 work last week, but did some team stuff today. So coming back from that foot injury. And then we heard from Oliver Martin, who's playing like a starter right now in camp, just from what we hear and what the coaches say, along with Alante Brown and Trey Palmer sort of as the top group. Obviously Omar Manning in that conversation as well as some other guys. But Oliver Martin said for a good chunk of last year, he couldn't really bend his leg. He had a knee injury that swole up on him. It just sort of bothered him throughout the season. And he was confident today. It's a different tenor really than I've heard him talk with since he's been here. He said he feels like he's playing at a high level and that he's primed to have a really productive year this fall.
Yeah, it's a different tenor because of that injury. That injury affected him mentally. His knee didn't get better really. He didn't feel full strength until January or February, just this past January, February. So yeah, that was a tough season for him.
Last thing, number 4, Mark Whipple also just sort of talked about where they're at offensively. Obviously, they got a lot of guys out, and someone asked, is it frustrating to have to go through installs with so many guys that you're counting on to be starters not participating or limited by injury? And he laughed and he said, no, it's better than not having those guys in your program. So he's looking at it as a positive. Obviously, you'd like a bunch of those guys to be able to get more reps than they're getting now, but he looks at it as a positive that you've got a lot of offensive linemen getting reps, and theoretically you'll get Teddy Prohaska and Turner Corcoran back healthy. He's looking at it as a positive that Nate Borkacher gets a lot of reps at tight end, and that Travis Vokalek will be back. He's doing stuff on air. We still don't know exactly what the deal is with Thomas Fedoni, what his timeline looks like. So all in all, it's been a little bit scattershot. There's a lot going on. They're trying to put a lot in. But Mark Whipple, more positive than not, through 11 practices. So
yeah,
far.
Beckton was too. But Beckton said there's still a lot of getting to know, for instance, what landmarks Applegate wants. He said there's a lot to think about.
Yeah, so it's one of those springs, counting down to the spring game, just Friday, Monday, Wednesday, and then spring game a week from Saturday. That's Brian Applewhite. That's who he's referring to, the running backs coach, Nebraska's running backs coach, Brian Applewhite.
Right, that's right. Thanks.
Sean Beckton, the tight end. That's all for today. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.